Welcome to another unboxing from theplayersaid.com. I'm Grant. Today I'm unboxing a game that we've been looking forward to for a very long time that actually is just new off the 500. Our copy was delayed a little bit in shipping. We didn't get it till actually earlier this week. So in mid-July, I think most of the rest of the known world got it sometime in mid to late June. So we've been eagerly awaiting the arrival of this game. But this is Imperial Struggle, which is designed by the team of Ananda Gupta and Jason Matthews. They are the designers of Twilight Struggle, which was one of the first GMT games that Alexander and I ever played together, and is probably one of our favorites still to this day. It is a two-player, we describe it as a tug-of-war style game where I'm playing cards to do activities and abilities and make things happen, and then you as my opponent are playing cards to undo or do what you want to do. So that's kind of the basis for what Imperial Struggle is. Imperial Struggle also is, as you can see from the cover, it is France, the nations of France and England, as they struggle for control of the globe. In the 18th century, actually the game starts, I think, in 1697 and goes through the end of the 1780s after the American Revolution is decided. But the game covers roughly 100 years. I think it covers 4 different war periods, and it pits these two great nations against each other. Not that they're not great nations now. They really ruled the globe at that time and really competed with each other for money and power and control. So Imperial Struggle, that's what the game is, a fight between France and England on the grand strategic scale of the globe. Let's go ahead and flip and the box is huge. You can see it's a 3-inch box. Very well done, beautiful art. Here's the back of the box. I'll show you the map, but you can see the map there in the upper right. Let me just read this part to you. It says, Imperial Struggle is a 2-player game depicting the 18th century rivalry between France and Britain. It begins in 1697 and ends in 1789. And the game really focuses on everything. Battles, the economy, colonization. I know there's peace times where you have to do investments. And then once again, use cards in your hand to battle your opponent. Here you can kind of look here. It's not really solitaire friendly. Very low. It gives it a 2. The complexity is a 4. So I think it's very similar to Twilight Struggle in that respect. A game that you can, I think, pick up mechanically very easy, but then you're going to have to learn how to win. I think we've played Twilight Struggle probably 20 times between us. And I don't think until the last 5, 6, 7 times did I really truly understand, if I was the Russians, what I needed to do, and then if I was the United States, what I needed to do. So I'm hoping this game is kind of that same style and same feel. Let's go ahead and look inside the box and see what you got. The box is really tight. I've already actually opened it, and I did a photo unboxing on Twitter just to show people, because I was pretty excited about, look how hard that was to get off, but it's very tight. So one of the first things that greets you, and I'm really, really excited about this because we love these GMT trays. We can never seem to keep enough of them in our house or stocked up. But you have a tray, one tray where you're going to put your counters, and there's probably 100 counters, give or take. But you're going to put these here for easy storage, and it fits right in that box. You can see the box is chock full to the very, very tip top. You're going to, there's a couple sheets of counters, so that's going to go down a little bit, and then there's a box insert that frankly I don't need. So it will end up giving you a little space potentially for future expansions. But that's a look at the counter tray, which is really nice. First thing you're going to see as you open the box is the rules of play. And these are glossy rules. That's fairly rare. I haven't seen those in GMT for a while. This is a glossy rule book, and it's very nicely laid out. I actually reviewed it earlier when I had opened the box. Once again, I'm pretty excited about it. But it gives definitions of all the different parts on the board. talks about the way to play the game, talks about the different tiles, the war tiles. Here you can see those. There are also investment tiles. There are cards. We'll look at the cards here in just a minute. But the game actually does not look that difficult, to be honest. Here is the game sequence. You can see a peace turn and then a war turn. War turns are listed down here. Peace is up there. So you're just going to follow through those different stages, playing your cards, taking your actions, doing the things that you need to do. And it doesn't look very difficult. I think I've said that 3 or 4 times, so I will stop saying that. But a really nice rule book. There are, I think it's 17 pages. Yeah, 17 pages of rules. And then there are a couple pages covering the different counter sheets. I think there are actually, I think I said 2 or 3. There's like 4 or 5 counter sheets. But anyway, and then on the back is an index, which is nice because you can look up whatever rule you're needing to understand better and immediately find the page in the rule book and go to that. Next is the Playbook. This is going to give you scenarios. It also gives a, you'll notice here, guide for CDG players. It actually goes through examples of historical background for the different cards, where they came from, has some designer notes. So these playbooks have become very standard in GMT games, and they're very nice. Has a way, it has your setup, and I don't believe there's scenarios for the game. You just play it. Maybe there are scenarios, but I'm missing that. But it gives kind of setup, and then it goes through an extended example of play. A lot of times with these games, I found I set them up solo before Alexander and I really get together. I simply run through this example of play to understand better what's happening, and then we start playing the game, and I found that helps me learn and retain the rules and understand better what is happening. But here's that extended example of play. You can see it goes several pages, which once again is really, really a cool element of these games. Here's that guide for CDG players. Not really sure what that is. I haven't read through it. And then here is the historical background for all of the cards. And you can see, look at the detail that they put into that. I mean, somebody did a lot of research, looked up a lot of the history, and I think that's great. To me, that shows that the designers understand that history is what is trying to be told through the game. They want to make sure to include those elements into the game and the gameplay. But yeah, very, very well done. There's some designer notes at the very back. So a very good product, and this is going to give you a lot of enjoyment. Frankly, I'm very, very, very excited about this. The next thing we're going to grab out are some of the player aids, and I'm going to kind of take these in groups. These are 2 double-sided war displays, I think is what they are referred to in the rules. And you can see here, this one is the War of the Spanish Succession. You flip it over, it is the 7 Years' War. Then this one is the War of the Austrian Succession. And then you flip it over, and then you have the American War for Independence. So those are the war displays. These are what you're going to use to track what is happening, the different war tiles that are available, that have been purchased and used, etc. So those are 2 very nice play aids. And I wanted to give you a close-up. Look at it behind. You can see there's kind of a relief map, which is very well done. It's kind of superimposed behind the elements just to give it a feel and a flavor for that time period. I really like those. That really struck me as I opened the box the other day. Here you have 2 double-sided play aids. So they each contain the same information. Here are, on this side, you've got the Advantage Tile Guide, and Bonus Strength Guide. And then on the back, you have a reminder of the sequence of play. So you have one of each of these for each player. So you're going to be able to sit down and follow the action and understand better what is going on. The next 3 items that we'll look at are actually cards that are used to hold the different elements, bits and pieces, and cards that you have for the players. So this is the French player mat. And man, these are really thick. They have the same thickness as a counter sheet. Very well made. I remember a couple of years ago with the game Falling Sky from GMT, the coin game, the ancient Roman coin game. They included these player boards, but man, they were thin. And I know after we played ours 2 or 3 times, they started to show their wear. I think that GMT has learned that, they can't skimp on this. They've got to put quality in, and man, that is quality. So there's the French player mat. Here is the British player mat. And once again, they're only single-sided. There's nothing on the other side. And then here you have the event deck, the draw pile, the discard pile, and then here are investment tiles that are held on the bottom. I guess that's so all players can see what is available and what has happened. So those are those cards. The next thing we have, I think it's 4 sheets of counters. Yep, 4 sheets of counters exactly. And here you're looking at some of the different investment tiles. Don't know what this iconography means. I have not read the rule book that closely. These are not pre-rounded, which I'm a little disappointed in, but that's okay. It's only a few to clip, and man, those are thick counters. Look how super thick those are. That's probably double the thickness of normal, usual counters. So anyway, that's one of the tiles. It is double-sided, and here you can see on the back it says investment tile, so yes, I was right. The brown ones are, what does it say on the back? These just look like different events or different things that might happen. Baltic trade, Central Europe conflict, etc. So you can see that's not an entire full counter sheet. There's only about 25 of those. There's room for about 40 counters. But those are some of the tiles. These are different markers. Don't know what they are. You can see they're hexagonal, which is pretty cool. They pop out. These will not need clipping in any way, shape, or form. They are perfectly, you can see there's a little bit of fraying there on that edge, but that's not going to bother me. I'm not going to clip those. Typically, if it's not square, I don't clip it. So I'm not going to be clipping these, but you can see there's a ton of those, and they fit really well. You can even put it right back in, which is a very good sign that they're well struck and done very, very well. So there's a bunch of markers. They're 2-sided markers. You have another sheet of those. These are more the French. The other ones were more the British. They're red. These are blue. So you can see kind of the same concept. Really nice looking. Yeah, everything looks really good. It just looks like a really superior job in creating a product that's dripping with theme. You're going to feel like you're running this empire, and I think that's really cool. Then here is a double-sided sheet of markers. These are control markers. You can see the Union Jack there on the top, and then the French flag, fleur de lis. I'm a terrible pronouncer. And then these are different markers: game, turn, initiative. Different control markers there, as I mentioned, awards, etc. A bunch of those. These I will probably clip, although as I punch them out, they're not really, there's not nubs on them really. There's not any fraying. I don't know. I need to think if I'm gonna clip those, because I can make those look even better. But anyway, they're great looking counters. Don't know that there's a real need to clip them, but I probably will because I'm neurotic, and that's okay. And I actually kind of enjoy clipping. So now we're going to look at the big cool map, and I'm going to be honest, I think this map is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's really cool. I remember when they showed early on a prototype version of it, I was blown away. And now since then, they have obviously made it even that much better. It is a mounted map board. I always try to be really careful with these when I fold them out. Yeah, and you're probably saying, you're not being that careful. Well, I'm trying. It's hard to do this and avoid bumping the camera all at the same time. Let me turn it up this way. You can see it's a map that represents the entire globe. Kind of focuses on the different hemispheres and the different areas. Sorry, let me push that away. Actually, it's not the entire globe, but it's a majority of the European continent. You got England, Europe, and France. This is kind of an insert close-up of that. And then over here, you've got the southeast portion of the United States. And then up here, you've got the northeast portion of the United States. So it's really North America, and then Europe, Here's Spain in this area. There's Italy, so you can see it's kind of covers those areas. Let me real quick look at this. I wish my geography was better, frankly. These names I'm not necessarily. Oh, Bengal. So this is India, the subcontinent of India, and I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong, but really nice looking map. I don't understand it because I haven't necessarily fully read through the rules. There's a lot of elements on here. You've got your general record track. You've got a global demand box there, which looks really cool. You've got a Navy box. You have some award boxes. You have different territories and areas that you can create alliances with or control. You'll also notice these goods markers, spices, cotton. What would this be? Tea, maybe. Those are tea, probably. Textile goods. Everything that you're going to be trading across the world or across this area is kind of listed on those boxes. But just a really fantastic looking map. Let me give you a look of the upper portion. I think I was talking about some of these things without pointing to them, but that's that global demand box that I was mentioning. And then there's just some of the different administrative elements, but really great looking map. I'm excited to put it on the table and understand how it works. I know that I got a lot of rules to read, but it looks very cool. And then you've got two different decks of cards. I'm going to go ahead and pop open. Let's pop open this purple one. Give me a second. I should have done this beforehand and cut them with my butcher knife, but I didn't. And of course, they're being stubborn and I'm not going to be able to get them open. But anyway, you've seen cards before. You know what cards do. But I'm going to go ahead and fight until I get that open. Still giving me a lot of trouble. But they're nice cards. They're thick cards. These are purple backed. Really great art on them. Let's turn those over and just kind of show you. These look like different events. So there's a war, there's some acts of union, some disease, that kind of thing. So these appear to be events that are going to happen throughout different years or times. Here you got slave unrest, trials, different things that are happening. So these appear to be all these types of events. And I'm not exactly sure how these cards are going to work. But that's a look at those cards. Very nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The game, I say pretty much it. That was a lot of stuff. But a really great looking game. Very excited about this one. Very excited to get this on the table. I know Alexander and I talked about trying to get it this weekend. Unfortunately, we have some other things scheduled, and it may be kind of hard, but we definitely will try to get this to the tables very, very soon, because one, it's a great looking game. It's a game that we both kind of dreamed about over this past year and have been very excited about. So there you go. That's a look at Imperial Struggle from GMT Games. Once again, designed by Ananda Gupta and Jason Matthews. Two great designers that have designed a lot of other great games as well. I know I have one of Jason Matthews' games, Founding Fathers, that we've enjoyed. He's also working on a new version of Twilight Struggle that focuses on the Horn of Africa. And then they did, obviously, Twilight Struggle together. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've played this yet. I know a lot of people have received their copies, have got it on the table. I've seen videos and other things come up on the internet. So looking forward to get our chance to look at this and take it for a spin. So thanks. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.